You know, one of the things I have always said to my audience is if my opinion changes about something, I will tell you and I will be upfront. And my opinion has changed significantly about Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over recent years. Now, I know that many of you are now disgusted with AOC. I get emails from a slice of my audience that says AOC sold out. AOC no longer is fighting for this or fighting for that, and she's not what she once was. I would argue that that's for the better. I'll be honest. When she first started her political career, I didn't find her political instincts to be particularly well tuned. I didn't think that she had the knowledge of economic issues that I would like to see from those fighting for economic justice. I didn't think that she was particularly pragmatic. Well, listen, you can say for better or for worse. The reality is that once you start to see the system from the inside, you start to adjust your perspective into one that says, oh, given that this is how the system works, here's how I am going to work within that system, both to achieve outcomes that are good and also to change the system. It's not an accelerationist point of view. It's a far more incrementalist point of view, something I agree with as well and have an entire chapter about in my forthcoming book. And one of the things that I think AOC is doing so well right now is she is trying different ways to communicate with people. And although this is not, you're not going to you won't achieve world peace by doing Twitch streams and answering questions on TikTok. Okay, not pretending that that's what you're going to do. But when the Democratic Party is struggling to connect with voters, and when misinformation runs rampant and there's no way to reel it in, and we're saying there's a lack of genuineness that plagued Kamala Harris, as we talked about yesterday, that Donald Trump seems to have figured out. One of the things I think AOC is doing really well is she's communicating directly with people in a way that is genuine. Here, I'm going to just play 3 TikTok videos she did. She opened it up to questions, and a bunch of people asked her questions. And one of them was, do you really have this multi-million dollar net worth that a lot of Republicans claim you have? And you can't go to the source any better than this. And these are short clips. This is not groundbreaking stuff, but there's something here that as a communicator, I think she's excellent. Take a listen to this.
No, this is not true at all. This is like a complete Republican fabrication. It is December 2024. Members of Congress have to file financial disclosures. And you can see from my legal disclosures that I remain one of the lowest net worth members of Congress. I do not trade individual stock. I have no outside income. I live off of my congressional salary. And that's just what it is. I don't believe in members of Congress trading individual stock. I think it's wrong. And I don't do it. Even though technically you legally can, I choose not to because I think it's messed up. And so Republicans love to just like straight up lie about this, and they'll just put it in comment sections until people believe it and repeat it. But this is like very easily able to look up, and it's a fabrication.
What's very good about this is that she is not only correcting a falsehood, she is also saying you can independently confirm this. And she is also using it as an opportunity to connect her personal actions to what her values are, which is, even though legally I could trade stock, I don't believe we should, and so I'm not doing it. That's very different than some elected officials who will pay lip service to you, the Stock Act but I'm going to keep trading stocks. And I'm going to teeter on the line between what is insider information and what is not, or privileged information. I think this is really good political communication. Now, is there a broader campaign strategy in here for the next presidential candidate? I don't know. That's 4 years away. AOC was asked during this Q&A, and this might have been on Instagram Live and then reposted to TikTok. I don't know. It's one of these vertical short form formats. Is Elon Musk the shadow president? And again, I think that she's answering these questions well.
Elon Musk, I believe, does create problems for Trump. And I've been seeing over the course of the last week that,
by the way, that's her dog snoring, I think.
When Elon tweets something and when Trump tweets something, Republicans don't know. I said this earlier. Republicans don't know who their daddy is. Like, they don't know which one they need to be listening to first.
Which, by the way, in the next segment, we're going to deal with this. When Elon posts, MAGA gets confused. And that's actually, we'll dig into that a little more.
And it's scrambling them. But it's not a joke that I think Elon poses real political problems for Trump and arguably may have at least rival his power and influence. And that's going to be a problem for Trump. I don't, they're both bad, but there you go.
Yeah. And then finally asked, in this situation where so many of us are demoralized, where so many of us are saying, what else can we do? They want everything. How do you fight back? And addressing that as well.
Now, I think there's going to be a lot of people that have answers and takes on this question, understandably so. I'm not going to be here to tell you here's the definitive answer, but because I think that the time that we are about to enter is going to be highly experimental. I do not think, to this other question, that it is about waiting for a political party to have an answer.
Correct.
I do not believe in that, just as a worldview, that we wait for Democrats as a political party to save the country. I don't believe that the structure of that party does that inherently. Now, that doesn't mean, to me, that doesn't mean that you don't vote for them, but I believe that building independent power of people's movements, union, labor, other protest movements, etc., is where
media as well, I think, is important. I think this is so good. Because I have said before, and you might be saying, oh, David, you think this is great because it happens to align with what you believe. Well, yes, right. Yes. I have things that I think are the direction that the left should go. And AOC, in contrast to 4 years ago, is now mirroring some of that, I think, as a result of her experience. That's great. I've changed my views about AOC. AOC has changed some of her views about what's going on. As I've said before, political parties may offer policy that you like, and political parties may offer a platform and candidates that overlap with you more or less. But when it really comes to achieving change and so on and so forth, to a degree, political parties exist like corporations do to sustain themselves. And in the same way that a corporation will offer a good product or service, if that's what will help it to sustain itself, not because it's an end unto itself, but because it's the means through which they can exist and earn profit. The Democratic National Committee, the DNC, the RNC, these are essentially corporations that exist to justify their existence. And AOC pointing out, listen, I don't think that you vote for them when you agree with their candidate more than the other candidate. But we need independent systems here, independent scaffolding. Now, I'm sure that there are some who would say the independent scaffolding we need is the Democratic Socialists of America. Well, good for you. I'm not a socialist. I don't believe that that's what we need. I would focus more, for example, on the lacking media ecosystem. Look at what Turning Point USA did over the weekend. We covered some of it yesterday. Maybe we'll talk about some of it today. So on the details, we may not agree. On every policy, I'm sure we don't agree. But I am very much seeing AOC as a political force due to this change that some of you are furious about. I see this as setting her up to have way more power rather than what some say, which is she's given up the power by moderating or becoming more pragmatic. No. That was going to be an obstacle to power. And I think now she is really readier than ever to seize it. So let me know what you think. After the break, I am going to get into this kind of like who's their daddy thing. Is it Elon or is it Trump? I think it's an important question. This holiday season, let's remember how powerful it is to have someone in your corner. Have you ever taken a big step as an adult, going back to school, changing careers. Think back to who encouraged you along the way. That's what the 431 Exchange is for so many adult learners. Our sponsor, the 431 Exchange, is a nonprofit that provides scholarships to adults 18 to 75 who are working to transform their lives and support families. The 431 Exchange fills a vital need in Louisiana, which ranks 40th in K through 12 education. We've talked about that, and that means opportunities are limited from an early age. One scholar studying agricultural engineering says, over the past 4 years, I've felt so much love from you all. Words can't express my gratitude. Another scholar at an Ivy League school calls this the most impactful scholarship he's ever received. Inspired by 431 women who integrated secretarial offices in the 1960s, the 431 Exchange allocates 80 cents of every dollar directly to scholarships. They're a 501c3, so donations are tax deductible. Help the David Pakman Show reach our goal of $15,000 in donations by year end at 431exchange.org/Pakman. A generous donor will match all donations up to $15,000 so you can double your impact, maybe even give a donation in someone else's name as a holiday gift. The link is in the description.